Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank FIRA for having us on stage today, and GoFar as well. I'm Heather Tunstall. I'm with Meister Media Worldwide. We are a media and events company out of the United States in Cleveland, Ohio, and also co-chair of the Global Ag Tech Initiative. I'm here with Thierry and Pierre and René. I'm going to allow each of our panelists to introduce themselves. Go ahead, Thierry.
Nice to meet you, Thierry Briquer. So I'm the Global Business Manager responsible for specialty crop for CNH.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pierre Lavail. I'm the president of major New Holland dealership in France. Name is Groupe T3M, and operating in different areas and different agriculture sectors.
I'm René Koerhuis. I'm an editor specialized in precision agriculture and robotics at Future Farming, the magazine as well as the website, doing a lot on robotics as well.
Thank you, gentlemen. And congratulations on your centennial for 3M.
Thank you.
Yes. So today we're talking a little bit about global market trends and the ag robotics scale-up. And what I'd like to do first is set the stage a little bit and talk about where we are today. So if we can, please let's start with René, actually. What are we seeing in the ag robotics space today, particularly in Europe, but with the global context?
Well, a great question, and quite a broad question as well, I think. But from Future Farming magazine, we have been creating a buyer's guide, a catalog with field and harvest robots for a couple of years, and we also do some statistics on how many markets, how many robots are really operational. So we asked the participants about the units they have in the market, and what we see is that last year, 2023, we saw that there were 73% more robots operational than the year before, and that's a global percentage. We also see that there's some robot manufacturers and startups disappearing. Quite recently, actually, we saw a French company, Meropi. They quit, and also a small robot company last week. So it's also a turbulent market, I think. And on the growth, it was we did the first catalog in 2020. And then we had, I have to look in the stats over here, but we had 266 operational robots in our catalog, and today we have nearly 2,500. So that's basically 10 times as much on a global perspective.
Wow. Okay. From the manufacturer's perspective, Thierry, what are you seeing right now in the market?
So I think we are all aligned to one thing, is that the current situation cannot continue like this. I mean, and we have to find solutions, and I'm thinking like sustainability, labor, we call this in French RSE. We still don't know what to do. It's still not super clear. The product range, the different machines that we could or we should have in the near future. But on specialty crop, only fruit and vegetable, we are all aligned to the fact that we have to change our approach globally, reducing the water consumptions. And I'm thinking in California, for example, for the almonds. Some of our US colleagues are here. So this cannot continue like this. So yeah, it's there. We are working. I mean, a lot of startups, the big manufacturers also are working, so we will contribute. How, when, we're still not super clear.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And Pierre, from your perspective, from the distributor standpoint, what are you seeing in the market?
Well, it's actually quite the same remarks I would do. We, as dealers, are connected to customers who actually know something is going to change, but they don't really know what's going to change. They don't really know the actual needs, but they feel the labor force is going to disappear in some areas, especially in the specialized crops harvests, and so something has to change. But we are in between the manufacturers, the startups, and the customers, and the startups would really fancy selling us these new technology products, but as dealers, we are aimed at distributing stable technology products, and these products at the moment are totally unstable, and so we are willing, very much willing, to cooperate, to make demos, to connect the technology with the customers and the customers with the new technologies and the startups. But we think, as dealers, that we need to change the way of distributing these new technology products.
And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into what you just mentioned in a few minutes, certainly. And what I would like to start with first is just kind of what we're seeing in terms of the machines, the technologies. We see a lot out in the demo area. If you haven't had a chance to do so, please go and check them out. But what types of machines are we going to be expecting in the next 1 to 3 years specifically coming onto the marketplace? You want to start, Pierre?
I think, as Thierry just said, we're going to see new technology much more in the vineyards than in the other sectors, and robots are coming. Precision agriculture is there today. And for example, in our company, we have created a special team, which is called T3M New Tech, which started 5 years ago. Actually, I created this team in January 20, just after the first FIRA I was invited, realizing that something was going to change. And this team is composed of 5 young technicians and a sales guy, and they are totally disconnected from the rest of the company, and they don't. This team is not profitable at the moment, just like startups. But we know we need to get this technology, and because we will have to do service with this new technology within 5 or 10 years, and we have to prepare it now. And as a New Holland dealer, we are connected with the New Holland, of course, on these new technologies, and we have we have very intense discussions on the way of distributing and doing the service with which kind of engines, which kind of power, which kind of people we have to hire now to be ready in the future. We are part of the Promodis group of dealerships, which is a very big group of dealerships in France, more than 100 dealerships. And this Promodis group has created a robotic commission, also watching the new technologies coming. So we are preparing ourselves to be ready within 2 or 5 or 10 years to do the service around these machines. But which machines? I think none of the machines, I'm totally persuaded that none of the machines we are actually going to see this afternoon or today are the machines we will be working on in 5 years, because it's a totally new world.
Okay. Yeah. And Thierry, your response to that, do you have any insight into the next 1 to 3 years or so, the machines that we'll be seeing?
Well, I would say we have. If I look at specialty crops, and then compared to the cash crop, and especially in a big manufacturer like we are, I would say we have not been super lucky in the history. All the investment of the major investment were going to the cash crop. But now, I mean, the time is changing. I think the specialty is in terms of demand, but also in terms of capacity to digest new technology. We are ready. I mean, this business is ready. You see and René was highlighting the number of, I call these animals, different machines, animals running in the field so far. It's way more than we have in the cash crop. So the adoption curves, we know, is still very slow. But if we look at what the GPS did in the cash crop, they did already a lot. So we can scale up, we can build upon this foundation and trying to go even faster. So I'm not worried. We have also millenniums, so it's a new generations that are looking to those type of high-tech new solutions. And it's also, when I'm thinking about the social impact and the people are living, you know that in France, 50% of our farmers are going to retire in the next 5 to 10 years. So we have also to bring or to keep some millennials in the field and to work. And the new technology is also one way to attract them. And so, yes, we are slow. The curve will be long, maybe 5, 10 years. But I think that we have solutions in our hands to make this nice for the future. So, yeah.
Wonderful. René, I'm going to direct this question to you. We're talking a little bit, and Pierre mentioned as well, it's important for dealers and distributors to know what's going on, and clients are expecting them to guide them in some of their decision-making going forward. So what market segments should distributors be paying attention to right now?
First, I would like to say that I have to disagree with you a bit, Pierre, because you say they are not stable yet. I don't agree with that, actually. If we see robotics, we also do farm reports with very happy clients working with robots, also in France, in vineyards. But to answer your question, Heather, well, labor is a growing issue, not only for weeding, organics, but also in harvesting robots, harvesting fruits. Some fruits are simply left behind in the fields because the people aren't there to harvest them. So robots that can solve a labor issue, whether completely or whether partly, that would be something I would focus on as a distributor. So weeding, and that can be mechanical. We see a lot of laser weeding equipment coming up today, not only autonomous but also implements behind the tractor. Everyone has heard of carbon robotics, for instance, which actually the first one is now operating in the Netherlands. It's the first one in Europe, and there's a dealer supporting that. We had in the news over the past weeks that there were 2 Dutch distributors. They were signing a distributor agreement with a weeding robot. So I would focus on weeding, Pierre, and you have quite a few French manufacturers that offer excellent robots, I think. Nio is the premier one, and I think they're very stable. So weeding, and I would also, robotic harvesting is still in a very, very, very early stage. But if you look at what's going on in startups, I think the majority is focusing on harvesting strawberries, for instance, grapes, apples. We even see apple harvesting drones, Tevel, for instance, supported by Kubota, so there's a backup. So I would focus on solutions for weeding, either robotics or implements, and maybe partly for harvesting as well. I don't know if you will see grape harvesting robots in France at short term, but maybe in 5 years. So weeding and harvesting is what I would put my money on if I were you.
when you say the products are stable, actually you say the same as I say. They're stable for as a product to be used now, but they are not stable on the developer point of view, because we are used at selling volumes of tractors, volumes of harvesting machines with the same models, the same different powers, and the way we need to put these new machines in the market is a different way. This is actually why I created a different team, because we have to change the mindset. And we have to change the mindset everywhere. Within the manufacturing company, like New Holland, which created the special teams for these new technologies, we have to change our mindsets too. And the startup companies have to also to adapt a little bit to our way of actual way of thinking. We can very easily improve our energy, but it's not very easy to improve our means, our financial means. And for example, we are used at having large stocks of tractors, but we cannot have large stocks of robots, because the actual price of the robot is too high compared to a very easy to sell machine as a tractor. So we have to find new ways of contracting.
Yeah, I totally agree on that perspective. It takes a different approach, maybe a different business model as well. And I think you made a good choice to put a young team on it to support it, because it will take support, especially in the beginning. It will take more support than the established tractor brands, and maybe you will see a tractor in the market that has been tested 5 years, but a robot company doesn't even exist sometimes 5 years to be able to test it. So yeah, I agree on that perspective, but then again, I think there's some quite reliable robots already present, but let's see what the future brings on that perspective.
Anyway, we will adapt.
Thierry, let's talk specifically about the technologies and how they are implemented within the machinery. So what technologies are manufacturers specifically looking at that'll impact the ag markets? Let's talk about the next 10 years or so, the next decade or so.
Yeah, well, as I was saying before, we are lucky versus the cash crop 20 years ago, because we have access to a lot of technology. They are quite cheap, they are affordable, coming from different other businesses, and I'm thinking like electricity, hybridation, machine learning, sensors, cameras, all those stuff. They are compatible also to some agriculture business, and especially fruits and vegetables. René mentioned a couple of nice solutions like the drones picking apples, so we can detect, we can choose, we can select in a very fast, easy way the data, just to sort, to take a decision. We call this the see and act. Okay, so this is there. As a big manufacturer, the idea is trying to leverage, to understand how this could work, how this could be applicable, and also digestible in our machines. So we call this sometimes the row-ball concept. So step by step, we integrate in our current portfolio. I'm thinking like our grape harvester, one by one. So we have like a smart steer system, so it's an auto guidance without GPS already, because we know the issue of the signal in particular in those field hilly conditions around the world. So we have we're launching since a couple of years already new technology like this. Also learning, because as Pierre was mentioning, it's a complete ecosystem. It's not only us. It's of course the growers has to deal with those new technology, which is not super easy. Has also to trust them, because if it fails, they can get rid of them super fast. So how from us and the path through the end customers, people after sales, spare parts, technical training, we have to reinvent completely a long and historical business, mainly around the tractors. So that's what we are doing, one by one. We lesson learn super fast. We also created a dedicated team because our processes will be probably different. The world, those technology or the startups that we are also facing, I'm saying sometimes we are elephants comparing to those very fast startups. So we also are adapting ourselves, our processes, just to do field test, validation. So we cannot test 5 years. So sometimes we have also to take some more risk together with all this ecosystem, including our dealers, to be closer, to be faster, to be reactive, agile. I mean, all those type of new word. Okay. So yeah.
And Pierre, have you seen any technologies that you think are going to impact the ag industry more so than others in the next 10 years that we need to pay attention to?
I think actually we sold our 2 first robots last year, and they were manufactured by NIO Technologies, and these 2 robots operate pretty well, and which gives us confidence in the future, and but confidence also that it's going to be robotics and autonomy is going to be inserted in every kind of harvest, every kind of farming, like dairy farm, for example. These big robots from Kuhn are going to be very important in this area too. So it's going to be many changes, and in all different category of farming. And it's a new world, and I'm sure we don't know. And I'm happy if we can meet in 5 years' time, and I'm sure in 5 years' time we will say at the same place. Hopefully, we'll all be here. We will say, "Wow! 5 years ago, we never thought this break in technology could come into working today." Because I'm sure many things. Who would have thought it would be possible to harvest apple with a robot, with this Israeli robot and the American robot New Holland invested in 5 years ago? Everybody say it will never work, and it works now. So I'm pretty sure in 5 years' time it's going to be another technological break.
René, do you have a response to this?
Well, it's good of Pierre to bring up the animal side of robotics as well. I was thinking about a milking robot, for instance. 32 years ago, the first milking robot worldwide was installed. It happened to be in the Netherlands. It took actually 30 years, 30, for the robotic technology to become dominant in the Netherlands. So right now, new installations are mostly robots, but that took 30 years. So I really hope that it won't take us 30 years before we see robots evolving that fast. But I mean, yeah, new technology, it takes time. And I think the first field robots were also seen on exhibitions 25 years ago. They were weeding. So, but I think we're on a progressive pace when it comes to adoption, trust, uptake by distributors and manufacturers. I mean, if you see the acquisitions your company and the others has been doing, it's on autonomy, it's on robotics. So you must have some belief and some trust in it, I think. Otherwise you won't spend millions or billions in acquisitions.
And we're talking a lot about how it may take some time for perfection and adoption and really getting our stride in this area, but we're also talking about the speed at which everything is progressing. And with that, let's dig a little bit into the scale up and how we're going to navigate that. So as we prepare to experience this growth in the next several years, how do we navigate the challenges? What are those challenges, and how do we address them? You want to start with Thierry?
Yeah, as René was saying, yeah, we have two paths. We have to go faster. So yes, we have not all the technology in-house. So we are looking also to some investments in some startups on which we trust, on which they also are part of our strategy, because we cannot harvest everything. We cannot, because it's a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, different conditions. So we have a clear strategy on which one we want to tackle, first, second, third, and by when, that's the challenge, trying to go as fast as possible, and trying also to bring our internal know-how up to speed, to, I'm not saying to compensate or to leverage the speed of the startup, the accessible technology that they are testing, but also what we should try to bring on the business is, as a big manufacturer, reliability, return on investment, user-friendly, adaptive to speed up the adoption curve. So we know how to do this. It's part of our DNA on the tractors, on the big combines. So we are trying to leverage this, to put something that is, as also Pierre was mentioning earlier, stable. When I'm saying stable, is that you can order in advance, you can predict a purchase order for the next 12 to 24 months. We can anticipate. We can also prepare the complete value chain and all those stuff. So this is what we have to bring on this business to speed up and to give also some trust to our groups, because we all know also the story of the startup. Half of them will disappear probably in the near 5 to 10 years. Some new one will come, for sure. But until this is not super stable, it will be like this for a couple of decades. So we need to bring this stability, and that's what we are trying to do.
Okay. And Pierre, we talked a little bit during our call last week too about the speed of the market and how it's accelerating a bit. So what is your perspective in terms of how we can address the scale up, we're working together across the supply chain?
Considering the very high price of robots, it could grow very quickly. But in number of machines, it's not going to be as fast in terms of number of machines, according to me. So, for example, our small new technology team is doing, our company is doing having a revenue of 150 million euros, and this new tech team is doing 1.5 million. So that's 1%. So it could double within 2 years, but it could double because only through selling 2 or 3 robots, because the price of a robot the price of a robot, I don't speak of a small robot, but a big robot, is around now 300,000 euros. But it's going to grow very quickly because we see new machines, because we see new things. For example, in the we are going to see today an Israeli robot. I heard that this morning, which is able to how do you say to do vineyard pruning, right? And this doesn't exist. If this technology is actually working and could be stable, that could be an amazing break, because this is something we really need in this sector to replace the people who don't want to do this task anymore. That would be a major break in the business. So that's why I was saying it's going to be changing a lot, because this technology doesn't exist. If it exists now, that could be the grail, really.
Yeah, so technology does not slow down. René, from your perspective, how do we address the scale up over the next few years?
Well, it's good, Pierre, that you brought up the pruning robot. I'm a bit involved with some research at Wageningen University in the Netherlands as well, and there they do quite some projects on pruning. I mean, that's research. And they decided to focus on pruning because a lot is already being done on robotic apple harvesting. You might disagree, but on a research perspective. And from a scale-up point of view, well, if we were able to identify, distinguish the gems within the startups, like you're trying, then we would probably not be here, but be spending our money at the beach somewhere. I think a very good sign for the potentially successful robots is the market pool. I mean, we have farmers all over the world. They are also following what's happening, and they are able to make hopefully the right choice in which robot could be successful for their farm. So if we follow the early adopters and follow their choices, that might be a good approach to see where we should put our money, where you should try and distribute. And sometimes it's not the models and not the brands that we were expecting to be successful. So I would say let's follow the farmers, also the farm reports in future farming, see what they feel. Advantages, disadvantages, because it won't work right away. You always have issues. Yeah, but I would say let's follow the farmers globally and see what choices they make, and they probably make the good choices, not from a technology point of view only, but also from a financial point of view and a return on investment point of view.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And as we're talking about this, we don't, there are farmers, there are investors, there are manufacturers, there are distributors. There's the entire supply chain. So as we're looking at the scale up, how can each work together collaboratively towards success? What does it take? What are their roles within the industry? I'll start with you, Thierry.
But in our point of view, our big manufacturer, let's say, we have to bring like on the table, let's say, a return on investment, what we are used to do, value proposition, stability, I mentioned this earlier already, that something that have to make sense. Customer needs, the expectation are high. If we can have an alignment, let's say, between the value, the proposition, and the cost, because we will scale up, we have access to a lot of suppliers, components. Of course, I was saying that they are accessible, cameras, sensors, and so on, but as soon as you start to industrialize them in a heavy-duty situation, it's not that easy. It costs a lot of investment, and the only way to put this at a reasonable industrial price is the volume. And that's what we should and bring on the table. So that's what we are doing, to really give access to all those growers and all those animals, let's say, stable components, reliable, easy to assembly, also to do the maintenance, easy to use, of course. So that's I think our main goal. Of course, we say as an investor also, because we have this capacity to also grab those new technology and just to invest. We trust, we know it's balance. We have demands. The social pressure is here. We're talking about apples. We have, I don't know, maybe 20% of the apples just wasted because we cannot pick them on time, which is a pity for the growth of the population growing year over year, just trying to pick them on time. That's it. So I think the pressure and social pressure will speed up. We'll also see a profitability behind, and we have also to be quite clear. We are here for that. Everybody has to gain some money to spend some time on the beach. So that's what we are trying to do. Yeah.
Yes. That would be nice, right? Let's all head to the beach where it's warmer.
Maybe not in February.
Maybe not in February.
Next time in California will be better.
There we go, yes. Pierre, from your perspective, how can the industry collaborate across investors to manufacturers to dealers to farmers?
You know, as dealers, we are in the in the middle of the chain and the value chain, and we will, of course, we will adapt. As I said, we'll adapt to the customers' needs. Our main task is to do a very strong technology watch on what the customers think they need to work better and deliver this, transfer these needs to the manufacturers. We're in the middle of the chain, so we have to take into consideration the and maybe sometimes do some demos to people who don't want to change, and try to get our salespeople in the field to be more pushy towards customers, because the customers, I mean farmers, most of them, and 90% of them, it's going to change maybe with the millennials, but they don't really want to change anything. They know how to do something, and they don't really want to change. If you ask them, they don't want to change on a day-to-day basis. They're not coming to FIRA. More and more are coming to FIRA, more and more. But it's a very small percentage of customers who are coming. So they don't really want to change anything, because they know, when you know how to do your business, you don't want to really change it. So we have to listen to what they say, but more importantly, we have to tell them that new ways can be put into their fields.
Yes, agreed. And I think, media plays a role in that as well, and information and education along the value chain. So, René, from your perspective, how can we all work together to advance the scale up and support one another?
Well, Thierry was using the word access. I think access is a magic word. I mean, not only to the media, but to funds, to technology, to distribution, to service. And I think all the parties could involve in that. And you're right, Heather, on the media perspective. I'm a technology nerd, so I like everything that's advanced and AI. And I mean, the more advanced, the more I like it. But what we also try is to put the farmer perspective in what we do. So, well, talk to farmers, see what they feel about a robot, and not only the good things, but also the bad things, so everyone can learn from that. Demos are very, very valuable, and yes, you will see at first the same people the first years because they are the early adopters. But it will also help open up farmers to see, well, maybe I could spend more money on a specific task when the robot does, for instance, the weeding. And yes, we all as a media have a big role to play in that, FIRA as well. And well, we actually took up that role, FIRA and Future Farming together. We are tomorrow at 12 p.m. I hope we have the same audience for the FIRA Awards, where we will also present the Ag Robot of the Year Award. And that's not a media award, but chosen by almost a dozen farmers from around the world. So they judge the candidates from a farmer perspective, and that could also speed up adoption. I mean, I mentioned follow the farmers, and I think that could be a great example of what farmers feel and what farmers think and what farmers might need. Whether on the short term or in 5 or 10 years' time.
Absolutely, and ultimately the voice of the farmer is what we need, right, to guide us. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your perspective today, each one of you. I appreciate your time. For those of you who are in the media, please join the press tour after this. Others, there's a vineyard demo that will be going on just outside, so please join me in thanking our gentlemen panelists. And do we have any audience questions? Any questions? Does anybody from... tell you what, I'll go down.
Very interesting, Davide Rizzo, researchers. Are there many trends in agriculture, I mean in the farm size or in production, that could challenge or open more opportunity for robotics?
I can try to answer. Yeah, I call this the chicken and the eggs. I said at the beginning we need to find new approach, cultural approaches, social approach, and so on. We have seen a lot in the next 5 years coming, changes. And I'm thinking like the almonds or the olives, where we are trying to change the density of the plants, for example. We know that the chicken and the eggs, trying to pick apples, now we have to adopt the trees. We have also to adopt the cultural path, way of producing the fruits, because I think we are at a stage where what we see in front of us is the accumulation, lesson learned of 100 years practices and so on. Now suddenly we have new alternative solutions. I'm thinking like our Zaso electric weeding system. But none of them will replace what we have so far at one-to-one. I'm thinking like take the fuel, yeah, maybe electrification, but there will be constraints. So this will have to change the approach anyhow, somehow. So this is ongoing, and so it's we as manufacturers proposing solutions, growers also thinking to adopt their practices, and that's and one point also on the media and what we are facing. Yes, growers will adopt this because they are facing. You remember last week the growers were complaining about the environmental constraints, but they are living with this, so they will change. The key point for me is to attract talent in our business. So not only on the farm, but with the dealers. We still have the impression that agriculture is dirty. It's oil, mechanics, mud, dust. It's not true anymore. So it's difficult for us to attract university, high talented guy on machine learning, sensors and so on. And that's super important that the media, all of us, we try to push. the millenniums to join us, let's say.
Hello, my question is about the legal field for agricultural robotics. Do you think it's still the really thing that prevent us from higher penetration of open field robotics? And when it's gonna be solved, especially the question goes for CNH, as you are market leader who are pushing it forward. Thank you.
There is pro and cons. I'm the first one complaining about those rules that they are not disruptive enough. European unions are super slow in US, in Japan, and all those countries. But in another side, I'm also worried about when we will have a real accident. And this will come by definition, it's mathematics. The sooner or later, but there will be a serious injury in the field one day. And we have also to be prepared. And that's why look at Tesla, for example. Don't forget that looking at autonomous vehicles, animals, you don't have the people anymore, well, in theory. Even if you have a supervisor or whatever. But it's the brand that is affected directly. So if you have a car, it's Tesla. The car had a problem. It's not the driver. The driver could have done a mistake if it would have been a normal. Now it disappears. So yes, we have to speed up, trying to speed up, but we have to be also cautious on what we do.
And we have time for one more.
I'm sorry that this discussion about robots, accidents, you're going to have an accident with a tractor, with a harvesting machine, with anything, saying that it's dangerous because you're silly, you're stupid.
It's the same. No, I have a super good example. Electric weeding system versus spraying. The people today understand that it's becoming super dangerous to use pesticide. It took 30 years to realize that glyphosate is dangerous for our health. Now you go to do electric weeding, it's even worse, 6,000 volts. But the people don't understand, don't see that it's dangerous. So they are coming closer and closer, up to a point that maybe there will be an accident. We hope not, but it's new.
We stop using calculating machines because they can make a mistake. But a human person doesn't make a mistake, but a calculating machine does make a mistake. Yes. The whole thing is stupid. You have the weeding machine with 6,000 volts, flashlights, jack that. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yep. But the people don't follow.
You have a tractor, a huge tractor, you don't go under it.
Yes. Most of our attention here is focused on robots that actually cost a lot, and some elements of financing are missing to make it easier for farmers to adopt. Thinking in a longer term, I'm curious as to whether any of you have also observed or expect to observe efforts to introduce agricultural robots to the poor countries of the world, where we see, for example, the population of Africa will grow by several billions of people by the end of this century. And I wonder whether we will see, let's say, a leapfrog or jump over current technology straight to robots the way, for example, in some countries of the world, they completely skipped landline telephone networks and jumped directly to mobile phone networks. So are you actually paying attention to, or do you see anybody paying attention to agricultural robotics to be introduced in the poor countries of the world for something much simpler tasks or much, much lower pricing?
It's when I'm saying, as I said at the beginning, the social impact. It's exactly this. Yes, we have to make this accessible over the world. Today we have an Indian Tech Center where we are looking to pick different type of fruits, super accessible. And one thing that I like to highlight is the drones, small drones, I don't know, on rice in APAC countries, makes this realistic. You can buy just one drone, affordable, super affordable, easy to user-friendly, easy to drive with just a mobile phone, because the good thing is that the millennials, they all have a mobile phone. They jump, even there, they have a mobile phone. So it's something also quite sexy, quite easy to keep this generation to do farming in a very small area, like just 1 hectare. So yes, we are looking at this. And again, it's still for us, even for us, it's not that easy, because we need at the end to be quite profitable. So it's we have to say it. It's financial are driving a lot of our decisions. But we are trying to find a balance. Yes.
Yes.
And it's not easy.
Thank you so much, Thierry, Pierre, and René. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your day.